But let's get into the second segment of this episode. Let's talk about a guy that was once one of the most viewed videos on this channel. It was actually, for a time, the most viewed video we had ever posted. And it was talking about the Baltimore Ravens potentially trading for DeVante Parker. Now, that original video was around a centerpiece trade of Orlando Brown Jr. That is no longer the case. But now that the Dolphins have recently acquired superstar wide receiver Tyreek Hill, they have a young star in a Jalen Waddle that had, I believe he led the NFL rookies in receptions this past season. He was very, very good. They're paying money to DeVante Parker, who is still a very good wide receiver. He's not a top 10 wide receiver, but he's a solid wide receiver. That's basically what he is. Good. The Ravens can use good. Now, Joshua, we just talked about DK. We just talked about, he's a guy that wants the ball all the time. He's a guy that's going to get a ton of money. DeVante Parker, really quickly going over his contract, because that is a massive thing when we're talking about the Ravens and their future deals. He's under contract for the next 2 seasons, and his cap hits are $8.7 million this year and $9 million next year. What do you think about the Ravens possibly trading with the Miami Dolphins for DeVante Parker?
Well, I definitely think, that's a more feasible trade, because once we get him, I actually see the Ravens actually putting that money into some guaranteed money for DeVante Parker. I mean, DeVante Parker is still under 30. I mean, he's just 29 years old. Yes, I believe he was hurt this past season. So, but I mean, just to go off his shout out some of his stats though: 338 yards, 338 receptions for 4,727 yards and 24 touchdowns, and he's a 6'3", 219 pound specimen. Now we have maybe a 6'4", 6'5", 225 specimen on our team for the past. He got drafted in 2019. This is now 2022. He's been on our team for the past 3 years, and he has not done diddly squat. He goes by the name of Miles Boykin, the outsider, the one that doesn't even travel to Arizona, North Florida to train with his quarterback. So, if you give me a big body guy, someone that everybody's been asking for, someone that is a serviceable and a hell of an upgrade than a Sammy Watkins, yes. I mean, I know people are going to be in the comments saying, well, when Sammy is healthy, he's good. Okay, same thing with DeVante Parker. With DeVante Parker, he's a better version of Sammy Watkins. I would take DeVante Parker over the middle, catching the ball versus Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins, sometimes eats a lot of popcorn before the games even start, and he got slippery fingers. Sometimes before the game start, Sammy Watkins forgets to tie up his cleats and sometimes tie them together. So,
hey Joshua, I think we need to take a pause in this recording, because it's just been reported that Bobby Wagner's in Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
I think we should go live. Do you want to go live?
I'm down for it.
All right, guys, listening to the podcast, I will stitch this with the second half of this recording. We're gonna go live. Check out the live stream if you want to see our reaction, but this just came up mid-recording. All right, guys, we're back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed kind of the third party just interference, and if you didn't like that, I apologize, but, the Bobby Wagner news came up, and last night we had a great stream talking about it, so shout out to everyone that came in to the stream. But, today we are back, and let's continue our discussion on DeVante Parker. Joshua was talking about how, he likes the signing. Unfortunately, Sammy Watkins has had some drop issues, even though, him and DeVante Parker are similar in the fact that sometimes they can get hurt. But I'm going to say I love DeVante Parker. I think DeVante Parker, I call him like the mega beta version of Mike Williams. He's a guy that'll go up and get that jump ball, and he's not making too much money. That's the biggest thing with him. He's not making a ton of money. There's not a massive market for him, because it very unlike the Seattle Seahawks, where the Seahawks are looking at DK like, hey, this is the guy for the future. This is the guy that they have. This is the leader of the team. The Dolphins have Jalen Waddle. They have Tyreek Hill. They have Mike Gesicki. DeVante Parker is not the number one guy for them. They want to get whatever they can out of him so that they can, build whatever team they're trying to build. So the Ravens would not have to give up nearly as much capital. They would have him for 2 years. He wouldn't be desiring a massive contract. And they could get the big body wide receiver, a proven big body wide receiver that they have needed. And DeVante Parker, guys, he doesn't have incredible stats, but his quarterback play has never been good. He started off with Ryan Tannehill, who's not a terrible quarterback, but he's not amazing. And then he has Tua, and Tua's solid, guys. I don't think Tua's horrible, but Tua doesn't like to throw risky passes. He's a very conservative quarterback. DeVante Parker thrives on risky passes. Like, that's what his game is built on, is making difficult catches, making jump ball receptions, the 50-50 balls. That's what he's great at. So, I feel like so many people are asking for the Ravens to either draft, a Drake London, a Christian Watson type player, or go after someone like a DK Metcalf because they want that big body guy. Joshua, can DeVante Parker be the X receiver, the big body jump ball target that the Ravens need, or would we not utilize him correctly?
I mean, how can I put this now? We was all hyped to get Dez Bryant. I mean, granted, we getting Dez Bryant on the back end. Dez Bryant, wanted to prove something, but still, it was still an issue. It was still an issue with, getting him some play time, implement him into our scheme. But I mean, for that little bit of time that Dez was here, he was an outspoken person. I mean, heck, it came to the point where he started showing, hey, we actually do got plays in the book where we do pass the ball, stuff like that. It's just a thing of, getting the guys out there. This year, because, I don't know about you, McConnell, but I feel like, this offseason with all the moves with Marcus Williams, Morgan Moses, we're really not too happy or praising the 3-year extension with Patrick Ricard, but hey, it is what it is. With just these certain moves, it seems like the Ravens are in the mode or what they're giving off is that they want to win. I mean, the only thing that hasn't been done yet, which is not surprising, is the contract extension with Lamar Jackson, which, it's going to happen when it's going to happen. I'm not going to put no time frame on it or, it's going to happen before the season start or game one. No, it's going to happen when it's going to happen. And when it happens, it's going to be fresh air to us, a reliever to us, and it's going to be, it's going to be welcoming, honestly. What I would like for that to happen during this all season so it can open up some more money so we can continue making a bigger splash, of course. But I do feel like, if we make the move on DeVante Parker, I do feel like he will be able to see the field. I do feel like he'll be able to be, what Anquan Bolden was for us, a serviceable guy, a guy that didn't mind, throwing out those big body blocks, a guy that didn't mind, teaching these young fellas, hey, certain things that they craft. And also, you got to remember, we have one of the best wide receiver coaches and maybe possibly the league on this team, so we definitely got to keep that in mind as well, because what's the one thing one of our downfalls has been not able to develop wide receivers. Now, I don't know about you, but last year, with Keith Williams on the sideline, it didn't seem like these guys were running a little bit more crisp routes. Now, granted, the routes were a little bit running to each other, but these guys seem a little better, getting off those defenders, getting up the field, putting their foot down on the ground, things of that nature. They looked a little bit more, concise, a little bit more, confident in their movement and things of that nature. So I feel like, bringing a veteran, someone that's, someone that they can look up to a little bit more than versus a Sammy Watkins, I feel like that brings more confidence into that wide receiver core in this upcoming season. So I would definitely be down for the DeVante Parker move.
Yeah, and DeVante Parker has just been a solid guy. I was looking up his PFF rankings just out of curiosity because, PFF, they're not the end-all be-all. Right. But I just wanted to see how they viewed him, and he's been a consistent over 70 PFF grade for the last 4 seasons or so. Like, that is a decent player. And he's decent overall, but he's really good at what he does best, which is jump balls, which is 50-50 balls, which is the one aspect of the Baltimore Ravens offense that is yet to be, I don't know if unlocked is the right word. I would say maybe attempted, maybe, but he could be a guy where if they bring him in, he would actually be brought in to do just that, because they haven't really done the jump balls. They didn't do them with Dez Bryant, like you brought up, Joshua. But the thing about Dez is he was at the back end of his career. He hadn't played in a long time. You know, it's tough to judge with that. We saw a little bit of Tyler Huntley throwing some jump balls to Rashad Bateman. It worked out pretty well. Shout out to Rashad Bateman. Got his first touchdown. I have to put air quotes around that because they didn't give him the touchdown for some reason, but he was definitely scoring a touchdown on that play. But they were throwing jump balls towards the end of the season, and unfortunately Lamar couldn't come back from injury, so we never got to see if Lamar would start taking those chances. But, you know, we drafted guys that make jump ball receptions. We went with James Prochet. We went with, even farther back, Miles Boykin. We went with Tylan Wallace this year, who was like the contested catch king in college football, leading college football in 50-50 balls. DeVante Parker is established at being able to do it. And he's actually like in his prime. This isn't a guy that's 35 years old. This is a guy. Yeah, he is young. And so let's utilize that youngness. Let's utilize his skill set of being an elite jump ball wide receiver, because that's what we need. We need that one guy that can, when Lamar Jackson is sitting in 3rd and 15, or he's sitting in maybe just a 3rd and 7, and everybody collapses and he has to throw it up to somebody. Let's make it be a guy that we know can come down with it. I love Hollywood. Hollywood is not that guy. Right. You know, Hollywood's way too small. Now, he can burn you, but when you're throwing in a pinch, you want to just be able to throw it up to someone. We have Mark Andrews, but if we could get another guy, and I'm not saying Rashad Bateman can't be that guy or any of the other Ravens players, but DeVante Parker would absolutely be that guy. I've seen it. I've watched a lot of Dolphins games, and I've seen so many times where it's just, quarterback, about to get sacked. They just throw it up to DeVante Parker, and he just makes a terrific catch on the sideline. That's what he's able to do. And he's not making too much money. I feel like it would be worth it, especially if we could convert some of his contract into a signing bonus and restructure it to get even less salary cap hit for this upcoming season. But, Joshua, do you have anything else you want to add on DeVante Parker?
The last thing I would say, adding a DeVante Parker to this offense, it also will open up the middle of the field too. And also open up those checkdowns. Think about it. A lot of teams, especially the Giants, this upcoming season, they're probably going to run that zero cover blitz. I'm looking forward to that. But honestly, if we go ahead and we talked about it last season, if we utilize the slants, also if we utilize our wide receivers just getting straight up the field and not crossing to each other, and beating our wide receivers beating their defenders and taking it to the house, defenses are going to have to start respecting us a lot more. They respect us enough when it comes to the run game, but when it comes to the passing game, if I'm a defensive coach, I know who to double up on. That's Mark Andrews. Yes, he can make some Houdini things happen. Shout out to him, because last year we was very iffy about if he was going to make those contested catches and all that. And honestly, Mark, you showed up and showed out last year. No, I'm not going to ask you no replica. I'm going to say, Mark, this upcoming season, keep on doing your thing. But I know Mark, I know that you would like some help on those outside, so you can keep on doing your thing, man. So if we can get a DeVante Parker, that's going to help us out on the outside a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely with you. Is DeVante Parker the number one guy that I want the Ravens to target this offseason? No. My number one guy right now is Bobby Wagner. That's the guy I want. However, we don't know if Bobby Wagner's going to sign. He may go back to L.A. Yeah. He was obviously in Baltimore. That's why we cut the stream short, or the initial recording short. But DeVante Parker is an option where I feel like it would be worthwhile to make, because it would improve our team more than a lot of other options. But You know, let us know what you guys are thinking about that.